3, 2, 1. We are ready to go, and welcome, everyone, to our Power Thinking, rejuvenating your amazing mind training for Wednesday, October 29, 2025. This is our 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time edition, and I'm your moderator, Stanley Green. Proud to be with you as we spend another 30 minutes out of the 10,080 minutes that each of us has each week. And we're asking that you check in for a minimum of 30 minutes a week. 30 minutes out of 10,080 minutes a week. So think about what we do with all of that other time. Certainly we want to get our rest and get our sleep. But think about how much time is spent on social media, how much time may be spent on television, and what if we cut that out and invest more in what we do here. So we want to thank you all for being part of what we are doing here at Power Thinking. Feel free to hit that *6 at any point, as today and this evening we will be focused on second income. And not just a second income, but could be a third and fourth stream of income as we focus on financial resiliency, income resiliency, and that is so important at any time because throughout history, business cycles are such they go up and down. Some of the most influential businesses and well-known businesses and successful businesses have disappeared. Entire malls have disappeared, and they've been replaced by other types of businesses. And there have been videos on YouTube where they say, well, restaurants that are not here anymore, and you kind of go back and say, whoa, I remember this restaurant, and that restaurant, or that hotel chain, Howard Johnson's, for example. Very big and popular brands that are not here anymore. And there are companies that are, working hard to make sure they don't put themselves in that position, which means that when there's a downturn in revenue, and it doesn't even have to be a downturn in revenue, what they're doing is, cutting their expenses to ensure they're going to have longevity. So the video that we shared with you, it was 5 remote jobs you can do at night. And it was very interesting because there were a number of platforms where you can actually work for a company doing customer service or freelance work and get paid. And this can be, secondary income because you can be doing a job, your primary income stream during the course of the day. And then at night, have a secondary income stream, using one of these platforms to generate income. And then there are other ways to generate income as well. So want to get your thoughts about the video, some of the platforms mentioned. What are your thoughts about having an additional stream of income? Have you ever been in a position where you just had the one stream? And for most people, when they're growing up, they're told, perhaps go to college, but certainly when you're of age, get a job. And there's not much talk about entrepreneurship. So, and I'm proud, by the way, that I was asked to do a workshop during Entrepreneur Week. And this is going to be in November for Winston-Salem Black Chamber of Commerce and for their members, where we'll talk about resilience. We have Christy Hello from Florida. We'll bring your comment up. Any comments, feel free to put them up on LinkedIn, and we'll get them up on the screen. So we'd certainly like to get your thoughts on the video we shared on second income. Have you ever been in a position where you lost that primary source of income and you were particularly distraught? You may have been angry, you may have been sad, you may have felt guilty, you may have been embarrassed, and you may have had anxiety. because 100% of the income that you were generating came from one source. And also for some people, their very being is tied up in the company that they may work for. You work your way up, you get to the position of, say a vice president or even a president, and it doesn't guarantee anything. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to be there, tomorrow. And so what I want to do is, I want to share with you a note that was posted. This was an email, the email that was sent to 14,000 Amazon, and I believe these were white collar workers, folks who were in the corporate setting. 14,000 people who will be losing their jobs, within the next few weeks or so, and I believe many of them, if not all of them, have already received a letter. So on LinkedIn, and I see Linda Gray as well. Linda, thank you for joining us, and joining us from Dallas, Texas. So we have Christy from Florida, Linda Gray from Dallas, Texas, and Linda helps a number of entrepreneurs, small business with loans, and an organization called SCORE, retired business executives that can mentor and help other people, and does a great job with that. And really happy that you're with us and part of the Power Thinking family. So star 6, did you hear about the 14,000 Amazon workers, and were you surprised? Because Amazon is doing so well, one of the top 5 companies in terms of its market cap in the world, getting close to not billion, but $2 trillion in terms of the worth of Amazon. And I remember when they were a very young company, and it was during the .com era, and they were one of the survivors of that .com bubble that burst back in 2000. And of course, they have decimated a whole lifestyle. And this is going to malls, where people would go into a mall with multiple stores and restaurants, and spend hours, browsing, trying clothes on, eating at restaurants. And there are many of those businesses and malls, the entire malls, were gone. And Linda says here, I am interested in 3 of the jobs from the video. Cool. That's very good. Very good. So, and some of you, if you recall, you can certainly list in the chat, some of the platforms in the comment section, some of the, platforms that were mentioned in the video, and, love to get your thoughts about that. We do have a poll on LinkedIn, and only 8 hours left as we're on the air here now. The question is, which second form of income makes the most sense? So what are your thoughts about that? Is it, and some of the choices that I put down here is real estate sales. 41% of the folks who voted said real estate sales is the one that makes the most sense. What do you think about that? Feel free to hit the star 6 or leave your comment. How about insurance sales? There's life insurance sales, there's health insurance sales. There are folks who make a career out of Medicare, sales, because, it's a built-in audience. You turn 65 and, you are likely going to be on Medicare. And if you're not working anymore, and there are folks who are out there helping you to pick the best plan if you're going to go for what's called the Medicare Advantage. The third choice is Uber or DoorDash. What are your thoughts about Uber and DoorDash? And then we gave folks an opportunity to pick other. So what did you pick? Well, the folks who did vote, 41% said real estate sales. That was the most popular of the second income choices. Now, of course, there are pluses and minuses with real estate sales. Certainly, if you're successful, the possibilities are endless, not only by being a realtor and selling property, listing property, and when that property sells, getting a commission, but also with uh, rental property. Many real estate agents uh, start getting into rental property, owning rental property, and generating income from those rentals. Obviously, there are challenges associated with that. There's Uber, DoorDash, which gives you, more immediate payout, not significant, but it's more immediate. You drive a few people around, and that's within 24 hours you can actually collect some of the income that you generated. There's insurance sales and health insurance and life insurance sales, and there's consulting. I had a category called other where people left information in comments. There's consulting. There's someone said, take your hobby and turn it into an income stream. And then there were others. But I want to get to that letter that the Amazon employees received who are being laid off, about 14,000 of them all over the world. And so let's bring this up on the screen. I thought this was really, really interesting. So in the old days, you usually have a human being that may tap you on the shoulder or call you and say, hey, can you come into the office? And they'll talk to you. And we did this during the dot-com bubble. I took over a company that was burning, it was a .com in the year 2000, and we had to save it. And they were burning about $3 million a month in cash. Burning means that was a negative. And one of the private equity players who invested in the company was just not going to invest in it anymore unless money could be raised. And so I had to come in and raise $5.5 million, and then they put in another $5.5 million. I was able to do that in 3 weeks, and so then it was a total of $11 million. But if you're burning through $3 million a month, it's not going to last very long. We had 117 people in the company, and over the course of 6 months, unfortunately, and it was painful to do, we had to lay off 100 of the 116, 17 people. And so we were down to about 16 or 17 people. So unbelievable. But it was done, people, felt good about the way it was done, because we found a way for folks to have safe landings. Our general counsel, lawyer, he gave him an opportunity to start his own business, and we became a client, and he's doing, tremendously well now. We turn, for many people, we were able to turn a negative into a positive, and we were really proud of that. But nowadays, folks will just get an email. They will get an email, and that is it. So here is how this email read. Imagine in your inbox, you're coming in, to start your day, and you open up your email, and this is what you see. So love to get your thoughts about that. Hit that *6. I'm going to put up some of the comments on LinkedIn and give you your thoughts as well. So it reads this way, and I put it up on the screen on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I have some important but difficult news to share with you. After a thorough review of our organization, our priorities, and what we need to focus on going forward, we've made the hard decision to eliminate some roles across Amazon. And this is Amazon, the 14,000 folks, it was announced yesterday, who would be departing. So they made a hard business decision. So you may look at it and go, okay, well, I wonder who's going. And so here's the next sentence. Unfortunately, your role is being eliminated, and your employment will end after a non-working period. That's it. And so on the next slide, I took another, uh, few lines that I thought was important. Actually, the first piece kind of talked about um, the fact that they had to make these difficult decisions. And they'll say, if you have any questions, we're here to answer them. You'll soon receive a Chime meeting invitation. So there's a meeting invitation for a conversation with a leader or a HR representative from your team to discuss the specifics of your transition and how we can support you. While this meeting is optional, we encourage you to attend virtually. So what they're saying is attend virtually. We don't want you coming into the office. So it's optional, but if you want to attend virtually, as it provides an opportunity to address your individual questions. Now, check this part out. Your badge access has been restricted. So if you're currently in an Amazon office, security can assist you with exiting the building. Beyond this conversation, you can also review any additional information and FAQs in My HR at any time. So how about that? How would you feel if you received something like that and you had no idea that it was coming? And what that means is that, it's time to now really focus on that second stream of income. So let's put up another comment here. Sadly, the crematory services are really popular and will always be needed. That's very true, kind of morbid, but real. That's job security. Unless you have some robot, who knows, down the road, and they may develop one. But those folks do very well, because guess what? Folks will always be leaving here. So there's always business. There may be competition, but there's always business. And it's pretty much the same as it was, going back decades and maybe even centuries. So Gloria Hairston, thank you for that comment. And another comment from Christy. My son works for Amazon. I have a son. One of my children works for Amazon as well. And, one of the largest companies in the world. And you would think, hey, with all the people ordering on a daily basis, there's no way folks would leave, would be, sent away from Amazon. But Amazon is incredibly mechanized, and they're taking it to another level. There are actually robots that are moving packages around in the warehouses, and there are folks who actually make sure that when those robots get stuck, they can get them going again. Well, there's going to be a time when they're going to be built a lot better, and they won't even need people to make sure that they get unstuck. So we need to make sure that we're not depending on any company, as great as that company is, because with an Amazon, they want to make sure that they stay great. And so they are being proactive in keeping their expenses at a minimum in case some whippersnapper comes along with a better idea and blows them away, which is possible. So really, really important, folks, to have that second income. And let's talk about Amazon, and not only Amazon, but the government. There are folks that are going to be losing benefits shortly because of the government shutdown. There are nonprofits that are losing funding, at least temporarily and maybe permanently. People permanently lost their jobs. They were laid off as a result of this shutdown on a federal level. There are many folks who are not receiving pay, and within a few weeks of being furloughed, they're in food lines. And that tells you a lot about the savings that the average person has on hand. Again, another reason to have that second income. So what happens if that income goes? Now let's go through our PowerThinking resilience inner strengths and skills. Obviously, we have our 50,000 thoughts a day, and 70 to 80% of those thoughts are typically negative. and they get compounded when something like this happens, when there is a loss of a job, um, and loss of income. It is traumatic. And where do people fall on those seven inner strengths? When there's a loss of job, first of all, what happens from an emotional standpoint? There's anger. People are angry at the company. They may be angry at themselves. They may feel guilty now because they can't provide for their family. What's going to happen? uh, what about embarrassment? Here's someone that may have been a vice president of Amazon, and there's no way they're going anywhere, and now they're going to have to find another job, find another source of income, especially if this was only if this was the primary source of income. So you have that embarrassment. Neighbors, family members would point to, hey, yeah, my family member, my friend, my neighbor is a vice president of one of the greatest companies in the world, and now they're coming home, and guess what? They are who they are, and that's why we should make sure that we have the confidence and that we don't associate who we are with anybody's job. So that emotion regulation in what we focus on in resilience is absolutely critical. That ability to stay calm when something like this happens. Then the impulse control, the ability not to say or do the first thing that comes to mind. And there's some folks who may go in and have some choice words or worse with the people that formerly employed them. There was a time, remember when you had, people being fired at the post office, and, bad things would happen. They would get poor impulse control and would do something that that they regretted later, and they had a phrase for it, a word for it, a couple of words, and they called it going postal. Remember that? Going postal. And that's a result of poor emotion regulation and poor impulse control. Another strength of resilience that's necessary is empathy, understanding another person's experiences and emotions. Focus on the other people. Perhaps you're in a better situation than other people who may have lost their jobs, and that helps us to bounce back faster. And then, of course, self-efficacy, the belief that you have control over your ability to succeed. And what happens is when you have a second and more source of income, then your self-efficacy is strengthened, because even when that goes down, you can do something else. And by the way, it reminds me of a situation that I was in. I was with the Pennsylvania, and I was doing power thinking source of income. So, I was kind of working, nights and so forth, communicating with people around the world, and actually, develop some partners in other parts of the world while I was working full time at the Pennsylvania Treasury. I was also on a board of a company called Advanced Path Academics, which focused on helping, young people who dropped out of school get back on path, and they had contracts with school districts around the country. I was on the board, and that company was, facing a downturn, and I came in as the CEO to help out. But little did I know that the owner, didn't disclose to the board that it was losing its largest contract, about 2/3 of its revenue. And I think they wanted to bring me in to see if I could save it, because the person that was the superintendent looked like me out of Baltimore, and that didn't happen. It was pretty much gone by the time I came in. So I had to exit. So I was only there a few months, left the Pennsylvania Treasury to do that. And I was only there a few months, and boom, had to exit. Well, thank goodness I had this self-efficacy, because I owned my own company. And that was the time of 2016 where I focused 100% on power thinking. And I sent a note out to the people who were in my database for the company that we acquired, and they were all over the world. And I sent a letter out. I said, okay, me and Power Thinking, 100%, and I'm never working for anyone else again. And so I sent this note out and I said, yeah, we're doing leadership training and resilience training globally. Let me know if you have any interest in the training that we do. And one of the first replies that I received was from someone who became one of our first partners. Our first partner was Christine Vulamu and Betty Malesi, owners of Infinity Coaching out of Nairobi, Kenya. Our second partner was the folks at the Japan Positive Psychology Association. And they reached out and they said, hey, Stan, we'd love for you to come to Tokyo and train some of our people. Right now, remember, when one door closes, another one opens. One of the things that I did was I reached out. I didn't have that other situation, that full-time job, paid a lot, and it was part equity and everything else. And that was gone within a couple of months, but I had Power Thinking. And I said, I'm putting everything into Power Thinking. So I reached out. Remember, I sent that letter. Connect with others as opposed to isolating. Why did this happen to me? Not being emotional, staying calm and going, okay, here's the opportunity. My second form of income, I'm going to focus on full time. And so we connected with others. We took action. And, Japan said, come on over. And I came out to Japan, did a 2-day workshop. Listen to this, the first workshop that I conducted in Japan to do. And if you've ever seen my presentation, you'll see, why, some of the slides look the way they do, was for the Japanese military. The first Power Thinking presentation I ever made was to the Japanese military. High-level folks, think about the Pentagon, high-level folks in the Japanese military. And I only spoke, 2 words in Japanese, and that was Ohayo gozaimasu, which is good morning. So after that, we had a 2-day presentation to CEOs and executive directors of nonprofits, 2 days that had to be totally translated. And the presentation, of course, to the Japanese military had to be totally translated by my partner. So think about that experience when you lose a situation and then you have this secondary source of income that you can now, you feel this confidence, this great self-efficacy that, hey, I do have something else. It's mine and I can build it. And here we are today with a Power Thinking mobile app and, other opportunities presenting to, other organizations, and so it's just amazing what we can do. So I want you to make sure that you're building those inner strengths, the 7 inner strengths. I want to make sure that you're practicing the skills, learning the ABCs, avoiding the thinking traps, where we can beat ourselves up too much because we depended on this one source of income. We're, we may externalizing, blaming the people. They blame. You may need to take a look at what you should have been doing to ensure that even if Amazon let you go, that you had something else that you could build and feel good about. So avoid those thinking traps, detecting these iceberg beliefs that, believing that, one income stream is sufficient. I'm okay. I'm doing good at my job. I got a good review last year. They won't get rid of me. And boom, right out of the blue. Company's doing well. Why would they get rid of me? So you gotta drill down to those beliefs and start challenging those beliefs that you have that, this one source of income is enough. Everybody's fine with me, and start to diversify. Get a second stream of income. Get a third stream of income. And in addition to Power Thinking, I have other forms of income as well. Put things in perspective. Even if you lose that primary source of income, stay calm. Take those deep breaths when you're feeling those negative emotions, that calming and focusing, and we'll be in a position where we can be in real-time resilience. I move from one thing to the other thing, and we recognize that life, constantly changes, and we're going to go with the flow. So I want to thank you all for being with us as we focused on income. If you only have one source or even just two sources, diversify. You'll find that it's a lot of fun. It gives you a lot of confidence, and it certainly ensures that you won't be crushed with, if you do lose one source of income. So we will say good night to our folks on the phone lines first. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll do that. And Eric Olson, thanks for joining us. Carla, good to see you. Claudia, thanks for joining us again. Calvin Patterson, hey, I called you, Calvin. Good to see you. Bill Peterson, got to give you a call. We got to get together. Greg Jones, great to see you. Doug Sidoti, Lela Llewellyn, and others. We appreciate each and every one of you, the folks who are joined us with LinkedIn. Make it a great remainder of the week. Get that second, third source of income, and we'll see you in November. Take care, everybody. Really appreciate you. And make sure you get that PowerThinking Corp app. Take care, everybody. We'll see you. All right, folks. Oh, and by the way, make sure you get the PowerThinking Corp app. We are, this is important for baby boomers. Yes, very important for baby boomers. I didn't really focus on baby boomers. Super important. Linda, great. Thank you for that comment as we're still on our 3 platforms. But I also want to make sure, folks, that you are joining us on the PowerThinking Corp app. We just picked up 3 PowerThinking Corp mobile app users. I'm actually paying for limited time to out of the PowerThinking Corp app, and you can cancel at any time. And we will also sweeten the deal by sending you, and I just sent 4 of them before we jumped on the call, $10 Amazon e-gift cards. So we're growing that base. We have a lot of features there. Folks can reach out to each other. We have our, by the way, our QR code up. You can just take a picture of that and sign up. But people can reach out to each other directly over the PowerThinking Corp app. We have a My Chat function where people can call each other, video with each other. And when we have where you can actually leave messages, we have our notifications. We have the PowerThinking assessment that's available to everyone, sending out far more notifications via and videos. We have Financial Success Saturday, and you also get an opportunity to generate income. In fact, Carla Hill just referred 4 folks, so that $19.99 a month that she started paying after the 30-day free trial, that's offset by the additional income, which is probably, $25, $30 a month, and it just keeps climbing. So we have a lot packed into that. You'll be helping us out with the beta as well in this new phase of beta. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Check out that app. Take advantage of the 30-day free trial. The $10 Amazon applies last, and we'll see you next week. Make it a fantastic remainder of the week, everyone. And thank you for being with us, Gloria and Linda and